So when the news came out that Terrifier 3 had people in the UK passing out, leaving the theater, absolutely throwing up everywhere. Am I exaggerating? Maybe. But are the UK just a bunch of wussies? Yeah. This is unrealistic gore. Come on now, guys. Chase Lee Hockey here with the Blue Futon reviewing Terrifier 3. So what is this about? Pretty simple premise. 5 years after the second one, Art the Clown is back with Victoria. Is that her name? Anyway, basically demons. And they are just going to go on a killing spree during Christmas. And what do you know? Two characters that survived in the original, or in the second one, are now, kind of mentally unstable. And they're trying to survive thinking, is Art the Clown going to come after them? And their other family members, like their uncle, niece, aunt, things like that. Anyway, to like this film. Okay, when I remember watching the second one in theaters, right? And the sword shit I was just like, what is this sword stuff? What is this sword stuff? It's starting to make a little bit of sense, but not so. It's weird, right? I understand what they're trying to do with this supernatural stuff. I even said with the Terrifier 2, it's odd, it's weird. Here, it's a little more tame. And I do understand what they're trying to do now with the father, which I hope they expand a little bit more, like who this father really turned into or what he really is. But like I said, there are elements that is going to show up, I believe, in the fourth and fifth one. I think the director said after 5, 5 is literally, if he goes to 5, that will be his last one of this quadrilogy. No, quad is 4. Whatever Kwanzaa trilogy is, I just made up a word. Anyway, so you have that. But this one is a lot more tamer story, where it's a no-joke Christmas time. Art the Clown is on a killing spree. He doesn't care who he kills. He is just there to kill. And then you have some side characters, especially like with Thomas's, the brother's roommate's girlfriend, is really into podcasts and wants to interview them. And, I mean, the story's thin. Let's put it that way. The story is thin, and you come here for the gore. And the gore is pretty bonkers. It is bonkers. But I am confused, right, when I have these puke bags, when I see these people in the UK, when I go to the Regal's Theater and there's a sign on the door that says it's extremely gory, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. Why is there not no, sign for, Saw 10, right? To me, Saw 10 was a lot more, ugh. The substance was a lot more, ugh. The thing with Terrifier 3, the gore is so bombastic that it's fake for a reason. Like, throwing her in a torso, right? Going from, the testicles up, right? The boobs. It's gory, absolutely. But it's almost like playful gore. The only reason I'm going to say they added these warnings is because, this film is getting backlash. Kids get killed. And they show the aftermath of some of these kids, especially one in the very beginning, and something that happens in a mall. The mall one shocked me. I won't lie. I was like, oh, shit. And that was like, oh, damn. But here's the thing. Nothing is on the level of Terrifier's 2 bedroom scene, or I want to say the truck scene, the ice cream scene, that those two are vivid. Like the gun massacre. Those were more shit moments than anything in Terrifier 3. I think going into Terrifier 3, I knew I was going to just go bombastic shit. And it was bombastic shit. And I really dig it because it's gory, it's ridiculous, it's over the top, and it was fun. But like I said, you could tell it's fake. And it's supposed to be. And I think that's where I'm kind of getting conflicted with what people are expecting from this movie. So anyway, let's just talk about this movie as a whole. The storyline, like I said, it's pretty simple. It's basically, her, the main character that survived the second one, going to mental breakdown. So is Thomas. And I would say that their relationship in this movie is kind of broken, but they're never really in the movie together. And it does explain that in this movie, and we are kind of correlating to this new line. I'll say the most fucked up one has to do with the rats, right? I was like, oh shit. And it was like, damn, that's a brutal one. That one was a brutal one. So I understand why some people might be irked, but Saw 10, the femur scene, is so much more worse. So much more worse, in my opinion, because that was so much more, even though it's not as realistic because you would pass the fuck out when you get to that level. And say if half the kills here, like if you got your hand chopped off, your body's going into shock and you're basically not feeling things at this moment because you're dead. You're freaking dead with all the blood loss. All right. So, yes, is this very, very simplistic compared to the second one? Yes. Is it shorter than the second one? Yes, but I want to say 20-esque minutes as well. I'm intrigued where the fourth one is going to go. Is this going to go to hell? Is it going to stay on Earth? What is the whole point of this movie? Because I'm intrigued. But also, at the same time, I'm thinking, like, where are we in this town, and how are there so many stupid-ass people, right? So if Art the Clown is entering if you're sitting on your bus, right, or you're the bus driver, and Art the Clown comes in, he has a bloody suit, I'm getting the fuck off the bus. I'm not having this guy get on my bus. If I'm the bus driver, I'm like, well, later, bitch. Or like things like that where you're just like, really? You're in the bar scene, and you're just like, okay, whatever, dude. I do think they did have a missed opportunity with this podcast scene where they could have put Thomas on the podcast or the girl. And I think that might have added a little bit more depth. It could have. Or they could have expanded on some of the characters. But, it is what it is for Terrifier 3. You don't go into this movie looking for the most ridiculous story because the second one tried it and it did go off the wall bonkers. This one, it tamed it down on that like magical sword level. And I'll say one thing. Her hands... There's no way she's going to do all that drastic shit with, like, the hammering of the hands. Like, there's no way. Yes, I understand there's, like, healing power, but that quickly? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe they need to explain it a little bit more of, like, what the dad really did and what this sword really did and what, I don't know. Is she a real angel? Is she, like, God's helper? Because there's also a scene in this movie where the Virgin Mother kind of like is a statue, like holding this demon, like forging stuff, and the Mother Mary's like taming this angel. So there is a religious element to this movie where I'm intrigued of where it might go. So anyway, Terrifier 3, if you're just looking for a bombastic, gory movie with like a simplistic story, this is for you. And I kind of got my filling because that's all I wanted, because I knew what I was getting. This is one of those movies where I went in knowing what was going to happen, and it happened, and I was happy. Even though I'm not the biggest horror movie setting for Christmas, because I really do love Christmas, though. So Terrifier 3 will receive a 4 out of 5 with Futon, which equals at 80%. So let's see the critics and user scores gave this one. So you have critics a 74% with 92 of them, audience score 88% with over 1,000. Critic consensus: taking an axe to Yuletide cheer and everything else in its path, Terrifier 3 is a bloody, fantastic stocking stuffer for the holiday season. I have to agree. I mean, like I said, it's not rated. You know what you're getting. The end. 88, 80, 74. Chase Leak here at the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Well, no things, Blue Futontopia. You Blue Futon, thank you for watching. Have a great day. I'm going to take tomorrow, week, now, month, or year for every single freaking one of you. Peace and love. Peace and love. And if, like I said, if you see a killer clown with a weird bag and blood on him, just go the other direction. Let's be smart, folks.